Hey there, my name is Rafał. I'm the founder of Capitally, and I wanted to show you how to use charts in the application. In general, each metric tab has its own set of charts. Starting from the market value, you can see the line chart of the value, how it progressed during those 3 years that I have selected right now here. You can obviously change the period, and it will affect the chart as well. You can compare different groups. The groups are the ones that you can select from the bottom tabs. So there are types, positions, categories, tags. You can choose any one of those. And if you want to see how they stack up, so when you compare it with the value, the top line is more or less the same, you can do so by clicking stack. There's also the 100% view where you can compare the composition of different groups. Tags are a specific kind of group because the same asset can have multiple tags, so they are not stacked, but all other places, all other groups will be stacked like here. Then there is an X-ray. X-ray gives you a nice overview of the whole portfolio. All the groups will always be visible compared to compare or stack, where you can see only the top 5 in terms of the market value, and all the others are rolled up in the other group. So with X-ray, you can see everything, and as the name suggests, you can actually go down below many levels deeper. Like here, I have accounts in folders, so I can see the folder, then the actual broker, and then the asset itself. Then the last one is top. When I see, let's go to the positions here, and with the top, I can see the top level overview of the composition. So it's basically the same as looking at 100%, but the difference is that the 100% shows you how the accumulation changed throughout the years. With top, we can see how it looks like today. In total returns, most of the charts will be exactly the same, but there is another one which is called breakdown, which breaks down the returns into those 6 categories like capital, currency, fixed income, tax, fees. And as you can see, when I hover the legend, it nicely highlights the series on the chart for me. You can obviously do the same by just hovering with your mouse. And in the tooltip, you can see all the series as well, so you can quickly compare them just by eyeballing the tooltip without moving your mouse. Then, in the rate of return, there is one important distinction that we have an addition of the benchmark. You can choose the benchmark here. The benchmark is always black, so we can compare our rate of return to the benchmark. We can compare, again, returns of those top 5 assets to the benchmark itself, but I can also compare the prices themselves. So with the returns, they are the actual returns of my investments, but when comparing prices, it's just comparing the price of those assets. And this will be, again, top 5 assets, and they will be ordered by their appreciation. It is actually compared with my rate of return here and with the benchmark as well. We have a legend down here again, and you can click on it. So if I want to see only for example, I don't want to see Bitcoin, I can just click it. I can drop Microsoft as well. So it's easier to find my rate of return. But if I want to see only my rate of return, I can double click the rate of return and then add more items as well. It's also possible like that. If I want to see everything, I can just triple click it and everything is back. Next, I have the X-ray. The X-ray chart is basically the same as one with the market value. Just one important note here is that the size of the rectangle is not the size of the position. It's simply the size of the value that we're looking at, which is 230 cents, which will be a couple times more than 75% here. So it doesn't reflect the market value at all. It's just how many returns we have, and they are simply summed up here. On this view, it makes mostly sense, but if you open, for example, the categories, sometimes the numbers may be a little bit strange because these are rates of returns, not market value, that sums up nicely. Okay, but what if I want to see the size of the positions and my rate of return? Well, Heatmap is made for that. when you click on it, the size of the rectangle will be actually the size of my investment. It's not the market value, it's the average principal during that period, which means it's not the principal at the end of the period. So if you just sold the whole position, the principal will be zero and the market value will be zero as well. With the average principal, it will be just the average time-weighted principal from the whole period we are looking at. So this is the size of a rectangle, and the color and the value is obviously the rate of return. The best one here is crypto, and the worst one is Virgin Galactic. So Virgin Galactic gave me minus 100%. Now the last one is variation, which shows you the variability of your rates of return. It's also available for returns, but variability is more pronounced with the rates. By hovering on the dots, you can highlight the whole series, one single asset. Again, it works for all the groups if you want to. Again, you can use the legend to pinpoint the ones that are most interesting to you. And again, the size of the dot means the average principal. And you can see in the tooltip the actual rate of return and the average principal for each of the series that you have selected. You can actually click on those in any of those charts. And when you click into that, there is another tab, which is the price. Here we have the quantity, then we have the price. And the price is compared to the average buying price. So you have those two, and also you have the regions and sectors of the Vanguard. Not my positions that I hold, but the asset itself. Then on the line charts, you can actually select any time period that you want by clicking, holding, and dragging to narrow down the time period. So this is the quickest way. You don't have to edit the periods here. And lastly, you can toggle the markers. So with the markers, you will see all the transactions laid out on the chart. This works only for the line charts. The arrow up means a buy, arrow down means the sell, and the dot means a dividend or some other transaction. And when you hover with your mouse on it, you will see the icon for the type of transaction in the tooltip as well. You can also check the percentage. If you want to show your portfolio to somebody else, but you don't want to give them the details about the portfolio, like what is your actual return, you can switch to percentage and it will show you the same value, but as a percentage of the whole extent of the chart, which means here the extent of the chart is from minus 36 to 64%, which is 100% in total. It works for every other type of chart. So in the top chart, in the variation, and in the X-ray as well. If you want to resize the chart, it's also possible. You can do it by clicking on the resize icon. By clicking once, you make it bigger. Once more, it's very small. And once more, we get back to the usual size. But also you can close it so you have more space for the table. And you can open it back up by just clicking on the chart name. Then you can actually change every of those presets if you want to. So if I click on the chart icon here, I will be able to edit the X-ray. So I can, for example, select the depth the X-ray goes into, for example, one level or just the top level if I want. But also I can change the type of the chart that I'm looking at. For example, I can select the bar. Let's choose another group that we have here. This is the choice of the groups that the chart will be using. So these are the top groups selected from down here. The bottom groups, well, as the name suggests, this will be the lowest performers. And compared to the others, again, if the others is too big, the smaller ones will not be very readable, so you can get rid of the others by just clicking it on the legend. But also in some metrics, there is a possibility of additional groupings, like for returns. We've seen it already. This is the capital returns, but displayed in a little bit different way. And you can also change the type of the chart by still using the same groups. So getting back to the top groups, you can also change the amount of groups that you are viewing at the single time. So you can select 20. So we just got rid of the other group and we can see everything on a single chart. And lastly, but important as well, you can change the segmentation. So currently the dates are segmented by year because I have selected 3 years here. This is the automatic behavior, but I can narrow it down to months and I will be able to see it in months. This is important also that the system won't let you display too many series at once. So even if I select a single day, it won't change a thing. It will still be months. But if I reduce this to 1 month, for example, it will be by the day, but I also can select the week, so I have more control over it if I want to. And lastly, with the line, it is possible to change the smoothing. So as you can see, if I go to 3 years, the lines are very smooth, all the bumps are smoothed out, it looks pretty nice, but some people want to have details. So you can just disable smoothing and then you will see exactly the prices and all the changes if you prefer. Now, what is important is that you can save all those changes. So here I can just update the X-ray by clicking on those 3 little dots. So now even if I close this window and I navigate back to X-ray, this will be a line chart. Again, this is only for this particular returns metric, not for the market value. And always you can even delete the preset if you don't want to see it. But then if you realize that you made a mistake, one thing, you can always undo anything that you change here. But you can also restore all the default charts to their original state if you need to. So basically that's it. Thanks for watching. And if you have any comments, just leave them here or go to our community. And I hope you like it. Thanks.